Cynthia.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm not doing very well today. I feel very anxious.
Okay. Why are you feeling anxious?
I feel very anxious because I just lost my job.
Okay, that's pretty big. And how long have you been at that job?
I have been at my job for 6 years.
Oh, wow. So you're really used to being there.
Yes, I count on being at work every day to pay all my bills and get what I need done. And I just lost my job last week and I don't know what to do.
Okay. So it sounds to me like you're really worried about how you're going to make ends meet.
Right. Once I get my last paycheck, I'm done. I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. I don't know what else to do. I don't have any other skills. What am I going to do? I'm not going to do. I can't do anything.
Okay, so it sounds like to me you're very anxious right now. And I think it would help us both if we maybe tried a little exercise.
Okay.
That could help you calm down and maybe compartmentalize, which means basically stop thinking about everything at once, and so we can pull out things that we can help you with without being overwhelmed by everything. Does that make sense to you?
I guess my mind is just going
right.
A mile a minute, so I don't know if that's going to help, but I'll try it.
Okay.
I don't even know if I understood everything you just said.
Right? You're kind of on overload right now. I get it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to try to have you relax a little bit. So if you can, put both your feet on the floor or on the edge of the chair. Okay. And if you're comfortable, I want you to close your eyes. Okay. So we're going to do what's called mindfulness. Okay. And that's going to help you be aware of your body and aware of your breathing and then think about other things. Okay. So you're going to close your eyes. All right. I want you to feel your feet on the chair. See how it feels.
Am I supposed to tell you how it feels?
Nope.
Okay.
Sorry, this is all internal. I should have told you that. Sorry. So yeah, just feel it in your head and think through what I'm talking about. Okay? I'm just going to kind of lead you through this.
Okay. So
you feel your feet firmly planted on the chair. Feel where your thighs meet the chair. Take note of how it feels. Now notice your breathing. Is it fast? Is it slow? Are you comfortable? All these things. And then I want you to slow your breathing and take a deep breath in and out. Good. Now I want you to imagine a container of some kind. It can be a box, a trunk, anything that has a lid. Okay, something familiar to you might help. So maybe think of a box that you keep things in that you really like, or a trunk that you had as a child, just as long as you can close the lid. Okay, and I want you to think about the shape of the container. What color is it? Okay, now I want you to open your container. And I want you to think about all the things that are worrying you. And as these things come up, I just want you to acknowledge them. Don't fight them. Just know that they're there and be present with them. Now, as each one of these things comes to your mind, I want you to put them away in your container. And notice as you do what things kind of fight to stay in your consciousness and what things easily go into the container. And once you get everything in your container, all your worries, everything that's stressing you out right now, I want you to go ahead and close your container. And we're going to just put the lid on it just for a bit. Now this doesn't mean we can't access them again. It just means that for now, we're going to put them away. And once you get your container closed, I want you to go ahead and find a safe place for your container. Somewhere that you can put it away for now, but that you can easily retrieve it later. And that can be anywhere. It can be your basement in your house if that's where you'd like to keep things. That can be in your closet. Somewhere that you can put it away for now, but still is easily accessible in the future. I want you to come back and think of your breathing again. Notice it's slow. Notice your feelings and your emotions are calming. Notice your thighs on the back of the chair and your feet against the bottom of the chair. And when you're ready, come back. Did that help?
It helped a lot. I feel really light, actually. Really light, and I don't feel as anxious as when I first came in.
Good. I know sometimes when you have a lot of stress, it can definitely weigh on us.
Yeah, I even felt my shoulders
sag.
Yes, that was very good. I enjoyed that. I think I need to practice that.
It is pretty awesome, I know.
Yeah.
I've done it before with other people, and they report similar things, you know, that just kind of a lightness to it. It's pretty great.
It was pretty cool to watch myself in my brain put things in my little jar and put my jar there, and then think I can come back to it.
Right, and see how, you know, how your brain works through all those things. It's definitely eye-opening for sure.
It was really good.
Well, now that we're a little calmer,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
I mean, obviously you have concerns about how you've lost your job, but I want us to focus on things that we can actually deal with now, right? So I know we have other stressors going on, but let's work on our main issue, which is that you don't have a job right now.
Right.
Okay? So I think what we need to work on is how we can possibly help you get a new job. Because that's something that you can control. You know, we can't always control when we're going to get terminated, you know, or when we're going to get laid off, or things like that. But we can definitely control, you know, what we do after the fact to try to find something new.
Right.
So I would like to look at possible options for you as far as getting a new job.
Yeah, that'll be good because right now, like I said, I've had this job for 6 years. I haven't been looking for another job. I didn't realize or, you know, think that this would ever happen. I enjoy my job. I'm really good at what I do. But I don't know where to start. I don't know where to begin again. I get that. How to begin again.
Well, and it's been a long time, like you said, 6 years since you looked for a job. So that's a significant amount of your life right there.
Right.
That you haven't had to use those skills that you had previously. And then how do you feel about that you're going to have to use some of these kind of long forgotten skills?
I feel nervous that I won't know what to expect, or I won't be competitive enough out there to even try to look or, you know, get the job that I would really want, or a job that I would be qualified to do, compared to, you know, new graduate students or new, you know, people competing for the same job.
Right.
I've had past experience for.
That makes sense. So where did you work?
I worked at a bakery.
Okay. So that's a pretty good job, right? And, you know, very specialized.
Yes.
Right? So that should be good. So obviously if you worked there 6 years, you have a lot of experience in baking.
A lot of business experience, yes.
Right. And that, I mean, that's huge for a new employer. So what I would think we need to do first is work on your resume. Because have you been updating your resume as
No, I haven't. No.
Yeah, that tends to happen a lot, especially with people who are in a job that they've had for a long time. They kind of just forget about it because, like you said, you weren't expecting this to happen, so you didn't know that, oh, I still need that hanging around. So I think the first step for you would be to get out your old resumes, whatever they may be, and kind of update those as far as that goes. So what I would start with is, your job experience.
Okay.
And I don't know how you formatted your resume, obviously, but usually what you do is you start with the most recent job and then go backwards. So that way when your employer looks at it, they see the most recent first.
Right, because my most recent one would be the one I just lost.
Right, so your bakery job. And obviously you would want to include how much time you spent there, because that's going to be a huge thing for an employer, knowing that you're a stable person because you haven't been, getting a new job every 3 months. That is a huge deal to someone who's wanting to survive.
Yeah.
Right. And for an employer that might want to actually train someone, that's huge. Because the last thing an employer wants is to train somebody and then have them walk out the door. Because then they invest money in them and then they're gone. So knowing that you have that loyalty and that you're stable will be such a difference for an employer. So I definitely think that's very important to put on there.
So you think going back and revisiting my resume and just adding more things that I've done in the past 6 years to it, that would help?
That definitely will help. Also, what else do you usually have on your resume?
Well, I guess that would be it since I graduated from college. That's been my job.
Okay. Do you have what college you went to and things like that on your resume?
Yes, that's on there.
Good.
Any awards that I won when I was in school, and my baking school that I went to. So that's on there as well. So I've had specific training for,
which is great. Yeah, and that will help a lot for sure. Okay. How about your personality or skill set? So an example would be things that you're prompt.
Yes.
And that's on there as well? Good.
And I'm responsible, and I'm a quick learner, and I work on my own.
Good.
I don't need to be supervised. Yes.
Right. Willing to learn though, right?
Yes.
Because you want to make that distinction.
Oh, yes.
Because, it's good that they don't have to watch over you, but at the same time, you don't want it to sound like, I know everything and I can just do it.
It's true.
So, phrasing is important. And what I would encourage you to do is there are lots of places around Nampa that you can have them help you with your resume. Like one of them is the rec center.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so if I were you, I would, maybe get a draft going of what you think, and then you could take it to the rec center. And if you want, you can bring it here next session, and we can review it as well.
Okay.
But that would give you a couple of eyes to kind of help you with wording and things like that.
Because I don't know if my brain is even there yet to even look this over and make sure it's good enough, because I'm still just...
You're still stressed.
Yes.
I get that. That's completely understandable.
That's going to be so helpful in trying to get me a job again.
Right. And then once we get your resume fired up, we can do things like there's the unemployment office has jobs that they list. There's of course like the normal websites, like BoiseIdahoJobs.com.
Oh, okay.
Things like that. And then there's also, I don't know if you have any religious affiliation.
No, I haven't. I haven't been to any church.
Okay. But I know sometimes if you go into a church, they will have those kinds of services. For instance, I know LDS churches definitely have unemployment people.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, if you wanted to go there and ask about that, I'm sure they'd be willing to help you. They're usually pretty helpful most of the time. So, those are ideas we could do for you.
Yeah.
But like I said, I would first work on your resume,
okay.
And just take it one step at a time.
I'll do that first, and that helps me. That's one thing we can get out of my little jar and
right.
work on.
Yeah. And while, those other stressors are there, right? We acknowledge that. But it's important to deal with what you can actually control. Right now, you don't have a job, so you can't control, bills. There's nothing you can do about that. All you can do is do your best start finding a job. So.
Yeah, because I wasn't even, I wasn't even thinking about finding a new job. I've just been on panic. Is it called panic mode?
It may as well be, right?
That's where I've been, just panicking.
Yeah. Well, and that's natural. When you first hear some life-shattering, changing news, to just immediately shut down.
And it's been a week, and that's why I'm here today, because I didn't know where to go, what to do, how to do anything next.
Right. And that'll make a huge difference for you if we can just get you started, moving towards your goal. So you would agree that, getting the job is the next step?
Yes, that would be, I think, the biggest and the first biggest step I would take is trying to get a new job.
Okay. And I think that, like we said, is if we work on your resume and then go from there to looking at jobs specifically, obviously those sites and then, the unemployment office and things like that, that will help you to eventually, to at least apply for jobs. And then we'll go from there. And then once you start applying for jobs, maybe next session we could work on things like interviewing and things like that.
Oh yes, that causes me a whole other load of anxiety.
I bet. It does a lot of people. I don't know that I've met anyone that's completely comfortable in an interview setting, so you're not alone.
I can get started on going to, I think you said the department. Remember, is that what you said?
Yes.
I can do that on Monday. That sounds doable.
Right.
Work towards.
Yeah, definitely. And then once you have that resume, that will start opening the doors for you. And even, I'm not sure if you remember from your job hunting days, but even if a place isn't necessarily hiring, it really doesn't hurt to drop off a resume. Because you never know what's going to open.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, especially now in the holiday season when there's more and more people coming in and buying things. A lot of places will at least hire on temporary help. So that could at least sustain you until you get a job that would be more favorable. It's one of those things, I know obviously from your background that you're very stable and you like to, have the same job for a long time, which is great. But, when you hit this kind of place where you need to find a job and you need it sooner rather than later, sometimes you just have to take what's available and wait for something you really want, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Because unfortunately, sometimes they don't always just come rolling out with the one you want. Sometimes you have to wait for an opening. So, are you opposed to looking at other jobs besides baking specifically?
Well, I don't know, only because I haven't done any other jobs. But, I mean, I guess I can do something else. I can help someone else with their business, because that's what I did with this person. She just lost her business, and I was one of the bakers, and I helped her with her business. So, I mean, if it's a bakery business, I would do really well because it's my experience. But I'm sure that I can help someone else grow their business as well. Whatever else I would just have to learn.
Do you have other cooking skills besides baking specifically?
Yes, I do have some restaurant skills.
Okay. So that would be another option if we couldn't find a bakery right off the spot, is to go maybe somewhere that would be a restaurant. And you can maybe look for a cooking position there or something like that.
Yeah, I would like that.
I'm just trying to think of ways that we can stay to your experience, but still
just widen it a little bit more.
Yes, exactly. Make it so you have more options available.
Right.
Because I understand that you want to stick with what you know, as much as possible. Because that's what's comfortable.
I'd be really excited to learn something new. I don't mind not having a baking job.
Right. So
cooking as well.
Yeah. So learning something new would be good. Yeah. And maybe that's the way we should try to look at this, is, as a new opportunity.
That makes me feel better too, because I think I was very limited, or I am very limited in just my experience of baking and then helping her grow her business. So I think I could definitely learn something else.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's an opportunity for you. Which is a great way to look at it.
I'm excited.
Good.
Still anxious, but excited.
Right. Well, and that anxiousness, it's going to to be there. Like we said with the jar, we put it away, but that doesn't mean it's gone. It just means that, hopefully you can put it away for a while and work on things that you can handle. And then as time permits, pull it back out and address it.
Yes.
Because it's not going to be carrying all that stuff at once. It can be really hard on you.
It was really, really hard. Yeah, because all I had were all these thoughts in my brain going round and round. I can't even sleep at night because those are the thoughts that just run around across my head. So I like that I can put them away for a little while, at least for the time that I'm sitting here with you.
Right. Well, and if you want to try to do something like this at home, there are a lot of online sites that have like restfulness or mindfulness videos on them. So like YouTube, you could type in YouTube and mindfulness video.
Okay.
And that will help you to just kind of reach that calm place that we had earlier. So that way, if you are getting really stressed and anxious, you can just kind of bring yourself down and be in that place. So I would encourage you to look up those as well if that's something you're interested in. Okay. So what are you going to do before our next meeting? What should you be working on?
I should be working on my resume building and trying to calm myself a little bit more.
Okay.
So on Monday I will start my resume building, and I'll start my work search after I'm done with my resume.
All right.
You said to start with the Department of Labor, so that's where I'll go, and then I'll look some stuff up on YouTube
For mindfulness.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That would be great. And another way you could do it, that if you're a little worried about maybe going to the Department of Labor, because I know that kind of creates some anxiety having to get out of your comfort zone, you could always start a step smaller, which is that you can look online.
Oh, okay. Oh, there's an option. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that better.
Right. So, start with online. So that way you don't have to leave your house. You're more comfortable. You can look at it at your leisure. And then as you grow more comfortable, you can branch out and go to the Department of Labor. Because, there's Boise, Idaho jobs.com. And there's other sites out there that you can use that are.
And just upload my resume.
Yes.
Okay.
I know you're not.
Easier.
And I don't know specifically for baking.
Okay.
But I know there are sites specific to some jobs. So, for instance, there's a caregiving one. It's like care.com or something that you can upload your resume. So I would look for something maybe, you never know, there might be something baking specific out there too that you can put on there.
I can do that.
So I think that would really help.
I like that.
Okay. Do you have any other questions or concerns before we end today?
No, I feel much better.
Good.
I just hope I can hold on to this feeling until I get to Monday.
Right. Like we said, look up videos if you need them.
Yeah, that would be good, especially to be able to sleep tonight.
Right. And if you can clear your mind, that will help you be able to sleep for sure. And also, there's other tricks for sleeping better. There's the glass of warm milk.
Oh yeah, I don't drink milk.
There you go. Well, you could do you drink tea?
Yes, I love tea.
Do a nice calming glass of tea.
Okay.
Or cup of tea before you go to sleep. Things like that.
Okay.
And try not to drink caffeinated tea though, right before bed. Okay. So
I don't drink caffeine anyway. I'm too jittery for that already.
Fair enough. I just wanted to make sure you had that distinction.
Yeah.
Because that will not help.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, try something like that. Maybe a hot bath. If that calms you.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
Things like that can really help you.
Thanks for these ideas, because I don't know, the past week I haven't even thought of anything that would have calmed me. I've just been going and going and going. And yeah, those are good ideas.
It can be stressful. I understand that. All right.
Okay.
Well, I will see you next week then.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll be here next week.
All right. And if you want, like I said, if you want to bring your resume, I'm more than happy to look over it for you.
Okay.
And we can
That
go
would
over
be
it.
good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.